In this video, you'll be watching an excerpt from our Civil 3D Intro class. The topic I'll be discussing is parcel creation tools. And we're going to open from the Parcel folder, Parcel example. Once you have that drawing open, you'll see the blue lines. Someone just manually drew them to divide into different properties, different lots for all the houses. We have this U-shaped area and we have this L-shaped area that we are going to subdivide into smaller lots. So I will be going over this L-shaped area with you. When we're done, I'll have you work on the U-shaped area by yourself. Okay, so to get started, go to Parcel from Home tab, Parcel. We need to turn the L-shaped area into a parcel. So we're going to use Create Parcel from Objects. Select the L-shaped area, enter. Okay, so up at the top, we'll put it in Site 1, single family style, default layers, and then our label style is number, acre, square feet. We're not adding line and curve labels, but we will erase the existing polyline. Click OK. So once you convert that polyline into a parcel, it should have an area label. Okay. Next, we're going to open up Parcel Creation Tools, and we're going to talk about design criteria. Okay, the toolbar, we used this earlier to just draw a single line, but this time we're going to expand the toolbar using the double arrows on the right. And we're going to walk through these different design criteria. So if you're working on designing subdivisions for a neighborhood, the city has standards, the county has standards, the developer has their desired criteria. All of them are going to give you this information, or you have to look it up. And you want to use that information to create the different lots, right? You want to make sure you do it correctly, or they're just going to tell you to do it over again. So you gather all that data and you're like, okay, I'm ready to start. So the first thing is the minimum area. Every lot will have a minimum area. It depends. Are you building townhouses? Are you building single family houses? Are you building I don't know, apartment buildings, right? So it's different area. So your minimum area will be put here. We're not really going to change much, but I want to talk about each one. Minimum area. The second one is the minimum frontage. So this is the width across the front of the lot. So this is a little picture that's supposed to help you out. So the width across the front of the lot, there's a minimum value. Minimum frontage at an offset is optional. You can say yes or no. If you say yes, the frontage offset value is here, and the minimum width across the lot is here. So let me explain that one in model space. Most of your lots will be rectangular shaped, but sometimes you get these wedge shaped lots. So let's pretend I have a house on the lot and I have a driveway that goes up to the house. Right? And so if I had a minimum frontage along the very front of this house, it might not fit, right? That minimum distance might not fit right here. If I were trying to make this minimum distance larger, it might make my lot like extremely large on the back end just to get that minimum frontage that's required. So instead of forcing us to do the minimum frontage along this side of the lot, they allow us to have an offset value. Typically, the offset is the distance or length of your driveway. Once you go to that offset distance, then your minimum frontage is across this part of the lot, and that's much more doable, right? So typically, as long as you have like 5 feet on either side of the house, you're good. So the minimum frontage is now here instead of here. So this distance, the driveway is the offset, and then the minimum frontage width is right there. Okay, so I'll go back to that window. So you can see the little pictures. If you say yes or use minimum frontage at an offset, frontage offset is that distance, which is typically the driveway length. And then the minimum width is now somewhere in the middle, not at the front. Okay. Minimum depth is the value here. So how deep is the lot? Maximum depth is optional. If you say yes, then this is where you put the maximum depth. And then we have this one here called multiple solution preference. There are 2 options, and it's difficult to tell you which one to use. It really depends on the shape that you start with. So for example, use shortest frontage. If this is the shape that we start with, use shortest frontage will cut the lot perpendicular to the straight line. If you pick use smallest area, it's going to cut the lot perpendicular to this curve. So again, it just depends what shape you start with. I don't know which one is going to be the right choice, but what I tell people is pick one, run the tool. If it looks weird, pick the other one. So it's pretty easy to just switch the setting. So again, I don't care which one you start with. Down here's the last thing to talk about. Automatic mode, you could pick on or off. I typically keep that on. And then if it's on, you get 3 choices down here. So let's talk about the choices. It's going to use all the design criteria, and it's going to start cutting the lots per the criteria. And then at the end, it might end up with a little bit of extra land. And this is saying what you want to do with that extra piece of land. So the extra option, or the first option, is create a parcel from the remainder. So sometimes the developer will want some landscaping on the end, or maybe it's going to be a walking trail on the end, or if it's large enough, sometimes you put a little playground on the end, right? So they will tell you if they want that. Other option, place remainder in last parcel. So sometimes they want you to put extra backyard on that last lot, and they charge extra for that house because it has a bigger backyard. And last one is redistribute remainder. Every single house gets a little bit more backyard. So that's the nice option. I'll go with the nice option. Okay, so most things here we did not change. I did pick redistribute remainder. Let's try to run the tool. Okay, I want to split this red L-shaped area into smaller lots. Up at the top, it's going to be the 5th button from the left. There's a drop down. We're using slide line create. Okay. Again, same window as before. So we're going to use site 1, single family, default layers, name, area, acre, square feet, and no check at the bottom. I think it typically remembers your settings. Click OK. The command line talks, it says select the parcel to be subdivided. So when you select a parcel, you're not selecting the lines, you're selecting the area label. So go ahead and pick that area label. Then it says select the starting point on frontage. So imagine if you lived on this street, where would you drive to get to your house, right? So you would drive down this magenta center line road right here. You would drive down this road to get to your house. So that's the frontage road. It says pick the starting point on frontage. You want to use an endpoint snap at this corner. Okay. As you move your cursor along the frontage road, you'll see the yellow line follows your cursor. It says to pick an endpoint on frontage. We're going to snap to this corner at the top. Once you click, you get an arrow. And the command line says specify angle. So it wants to know how to cut these lots, and I want to cut them perpendicular to the yellow line. So perpendicular would be 90 degrees. Enter. So it used all the design criteria to divide up this area into smaller lots. It looks good to me. This is a preview. If for some reason the preview looks weird, you don't like it, you can go and say in the command line, accept results no, switch out your design criteria and run it again. But in this case, it looks good. I'm going to say accept results yes. There we go. We have all of our parcels now. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. They look pretty good. In this corner, maybe I don't like the label being down here. I can pick it up with the grip, center that a bit. So that looks pretty good. But let's say I don't like the way lot 113 and 114 are split. I feel like 114 is a little bit too wedge shaped. Okay. If I select the line between those lots, there is a little diamond grip. The diamond grip only allows me to slide it along the frontage. So that's not really going to help me. So I'm going to escape. Instead of sliding it, I will select the line and just delete it. Once it's deleted, it turns it into one large parcel. Then to draw a new line, I'm going to go back to Parcel Creation Tools. I don't need all this criteria. I can shrink that window with the double arrow on the right. And I just want to draw a line. But keep in mind, if you just draw a line, you better still think about all that design criteria to do it the old-fashioned way. But anyways, I'm going to click that line. Same stuff as before. And then using snaps, I will be able to create the line the way I want it. And so maybe that works, right? Okay. But again, just making sure, see how this is now 7692, and that one's 8826. One of the criteria was the 8,000 square feet. So probably need to scooch this over a bit. There we go. So now they're both over 8,000, and it's still not as wedge shaped as before. But again, there's other criteria that we have to just double check, right? Okay. So the last step for this area is renumbering. I just created a 126 between 112 and 113. So I need to renumber to make this look better. You select an area label. Up in the ribbon, use renumber rename. Site 1, I want to start from 100 and I'm going to count by ones. Click OK. And you don't have to click every parcel. You have to click in the first parcel, make sure the line passes through the other ones. Let's click in the corner parcel, continue up, and click in the last parcel. When you hit enter, it will allow you to go to a different street. But if we're done, hit enter again, and then it should renumber them correctly. So the last one is 125, and they're all in order. CAD Masters offers online and classroom training for a variety of Autodesk software. For more information, go to www.cadmasters.com or give us a call at 925-939-1378.